Well, what's really good, everybody? It's your boy K here, and welcome back to the Hotbox, where we're hitting y'all's box office news, predictions, results, and pretty much everything else, So, summer blockbuster season is pretty much drawn to conclusion after this weekend. Some people may consider Dora the Explorer the last blockbuster of 2019, but people who actually know movies know that's not the case. And instead, this weekend, Hobbs and Shaw put a nice little bow on 2019's summer blockbuster season, which altogether hasn't been very impressive. We had like a shitload of bombs and stuff like that. But Hobbs and Shaw is presented, after all, by the Fast and Furious, which has been doing gangbusters lately. I think the last two films made $1 billion. So pretty much everybody else is saying Hobbs and Shaw might just be the next $1 billion Fast and Furious movie. It does have Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham, but more importantly, Dwayne Johnson in that hole. So he's like guaranteed box office right now. So it's going to be a foregone conclusion pretty much this weekend too that Hobbs and Shaw is going to be the #1 movie in America this weekend. So this does still have some competition with Disney, which has 4 movies I think right now in the top 5 or something like that, which is ridiculous. But all those movies have been out for quite some time, so they're not going to be #1 compared to Hobbs and Shaw, which is going to do gangbusters this weekend. I tried to get tickets this weekend and it was sold out so many times. But yeah, it looked like it was going to be a pretty clean sweep from Hobbs and Shaw. Even critics were giving it pretty favorable reviews. I think it's sitting at 70, 69%, somewhere around that range in terms on Rotten Tomatoes, and fans were pretty good on it. Everybody was saying it's a pretty stupid movie, but at the same time, it's pretty stupid fun. So could Hobbs and Shaw live up to the hype and be a smash hit at this weekend's domestic box office totals, or did it flop miserably like most movies in 2019 have been doing it? So let's just get right into it and run down the top 5 US domestic totals from this past weekend's box office. And as always, we're getting our results from Box Office Mojo, the GOATs themselves. So we're gonna kick it right off with the number 5 joint, which is Toy Story 4, staying in the top 5 probably for the last weekend, I believe. And then its 7th weekend at the box office, making $7.1 million at the box office, which is still solid. Right now I think it's sitting at $954 million at the worldwide box office. So it might not make it to $1 billion next week neither. It's going to be in theater for a couple more weeks, so I think it's still going to be considered a $1 billion movie by the time it's out of its release. But yes, slowing down quite some bit, and with more kids movies opening up here and there, it's going to take a little bit of hit here. So in the number 4 joint now, we got Spider-Man Far From Home making another $7.7 million, barely beating out Toy Story 4 for the number 4 spot. Its worldwide total has been crossed the $1 billion mark and stuff like that, so now everything else is pure profit for their ass right now. And I actually saw Spider-Man Far From Home not too long ago again, and it still holds up. Still a very solid movie, very solid high, especially with that Mysterio dream sequence scene. Wow, that's a fucking mind trip right there. So in the number 3 joint, of course, we got Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, bringing in about $20 million in the second weekend, falling about 50%, which is kind of be expected and stuff. I don't think it was a worldwide movie, so the $78 million has made total for is the whole thing. So I think $90 million with the budget, so still under budget. But I think over the course of his lifetime, it'll make its money back for Quentin Tarantino. So I don't really think his movies ever really bomb, in my opinion. Number 2 joint, of course, is still another Disney movie, which is The Lion King, bringing in $35 million at the box office this weekend. Yeah, no, 38. Sorry about that. $38 million in this 3rd weekend at the box office. Pretty impressive. Everybody I've talked to said, yeah, it's not as good as the original one. It's not as good as the first one. It's not as good as Hamlet. That kind of shit. But still, I saw it again. Yesterday, and it was okay. It was better a second time, but just I'll still rather watch the original than watch that shit again. But I'm surprised that even though I went to go see it that second time, it was still almost sold out. So I'm not surprised it made $38 million. So yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. Disney had 5, I think, $1 billion movies. You got Captain Marvel's, Spider-Man technically is in there, but I'm gonna include it for this purpose. Spider-Man, you got Avengers Endgame, you got Lion King, Toy Story 4 gonna be $1 billion. Aladdin surprised everybody and made $1 billion, which there's no surprise that Disney has already set the yearly box office record in fucking July. Well, it's August now, but they set it in July, which is ridiculous. And with Lion King being the number 2 joint, obviously the number 1 joint is Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, making $60 million in its first weekend domestically. Worldwide, I think it made $195 or 180, somewhere around that range, million dollars. Yeah, $180 million in this opening weekend worldwide, which is it's great. $60 million domestically, technically it can be seen as a bomb because this budget, I think, was $200 million. I don't know where the fuck they spent all that money at. The CGI was not that good. and I don't know, maybe The Rock just has a huge fucking contract right now. But yeah, $200 million budget and making $60 million domestically is like, ooh, goddamn, y'all are in trouble. But everybody knew Fast and Furious is a movie that's made for overseas markets and stuff like that. So yeah, the extra $120 million boost they got from that shit gonna keep this franchise afloat. I mean, I'm not sure if this movie gonna be $1 billion movie though. I mean, there's not gonna be much coming up this rest of August. I mean, you got Dora, you got Dora. That's about it. That's about the only shit that's gonna be opening up this year. I mean, this month. So yeah, it's gonna be consistent over the course of these weeks. But $1 billion might be a tough task to open up to. Maybe 700, 800, somewhere around that range. But $1 billion, I'm thinking not. And hey, like I said, when I went to go see it, it was sold out pretty much everywhere. And I had fun time with it, watching it both times. Equally as stupid the second time around. Hey, even more stupid because you see more holes in this shit. But still a fun time if you just turn your brain off, get stoned, and go watch it. So yeah, that's the top 5 U.S. domestic total from this past weekend. And of course, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, joining the $1 billion club in this third weekend is, of course, The Lion King. I think it's like $1.1 billion right now. I think tops, it'll probably get to 1.3. That's like tops. There's no way it'll get to like 1.5, I don't think. But yeah, it's still doing gangbusters even though people were disappointed like that. And now Disney's thinking about making a sequel for it. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do with the sequel. They're gonna do some Lion King 2 shit. I don't remember that. I think it's like Simba's Pride or some shit. Like it was a disappointment in terms of movie for me at least. Some people did like it. But yeah, I didn't really give a good high from the Simba sequel, so I didn't like the Lion King remake, and I definitely wouldn't like the Lion King Simba remake of the sequel. But yeah, other than that, this was pretty much a slow weekend at this weekend's box office results. I mean, nothing huge happened. There was no huge really downers, nothing like that. I mean, other than the fact that Avengers is no longer in theaters, but it is on DVD, so you can binge watch it now at your house and jack off to it while you're watching it too. You couldn't do that in theaters because it's kind of inappropriate, but hey, you're at home. When that final battle scene comes, just grab that lotion, bro. But yeah, I mean, hey, that was my rundown of the box office results. Maybe I missed something. Maybe you saw something differently. Go ahead and spark it up in the comment section below and let me know what box office results stood out to you. And always, hit that like button, share the video, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Join the Blaze crew where we stay rolling up these joints and smoking them and getting high as a kite off of everything movie related. I'm Kay, and hey, before you jet off to go see that movie, why don't you do us a favor and hotbox it and blaze it.